So what I think might be flat out wrong in terms of how people are currently doing marketing, and you'll see a lot of people say this nowadays, but it's just that and this kind of goes back to AI as well. With so many AI possibilities, with so many tools out there, with so many platforms, everybody thinks they need to be on all of them. They really do. Like whether it's just having a TikTok profile or LinkedIn or using Gemini or let's use, Claude Code, Cowork, Nemo Claw, all these, right? There's so much going on out there that it really can be overwhelming. So a lot of teams will try to do too much or they get so overwhelmed where they do nothing. So we really just come back to the subtraction first mentality. Let's focus on the ones that actually matter. And I also think, you hear a lot of this stuff about where people cannot use AI generated content in terms of using it for content on their profile or their blog content because it won't rank well. I think that to an extent is true, but also really poorly written human content is not going to rank well as well. So if you have a really, really valuable, maybe AI helped you get 50% of the way there and you did the rest. But if it's super valuable content, search engines are going to rank for it. The Google developer code even says it's all about how valuable the content is. And then why would Google, for example, not rank AI generated content when they have one of the largest AI LLMs in the world, Gemini, right? So when I personally started questioning, it was probably, what year is it? 2016, probably 10, 12 years ago, whenever I was just a digital marketer in a big food service company. It was just consistently more priorities. There was really no clear direction. So a lot of it was just living in that moment and being in the trenches there, where it's just like no matter what you do, you could not get ahead of it. Even if you were producing great results, right? The priorities continually stacked up. And a lot of times they didn't align with how you were getting the results to begin with. So that was probably the eye opening moment where let's just let's do what's actually working right now and ignore. At the time you couldn't do it because it's come from leadership, right? But ignore all these other priorities that truly aren't going to they aren't going to do crap for you. Yeah. So, at the time when you're employed by somebody, you can't like stick it to the man right away, right? So, essentially continued with what I knew was working while still, using some of the other priorities. Then after that, I was able to go to another company where I had a lot more leadership capabilities. And therefore I was starting to teach this system that I had formulated within my head to everybody I was working with. That allowed us to get really, really good digital marketing results for our clients. And to this day, they'll hit me up and say, "Hey, we're still using that one campaign, right?" So I think that was where the moment where so when I was employed at the company, it was really hard to make that big shift just because I was employed. But whenever I had the more leadership capabilities where I could actually test this and put it out to a lot of different brands in a row, really saw like, wow, this is what's needed. Well, it's like anything. I think it's so socially ingrained that more is better. With everything we do, and more is better. It's hard to get away from your iPhone, right? You have social media on it 24/7. So you think you need to be on every single one of those 24/7. You see all the influencers talking to you on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, just talking about how they did this one thing on this one platform and they blew up their sales by 55%, right? So you're like, why can't we do that? So it's just that constant thought, little speaking in your ear that you need to do more, need to do more. Let's try this, let's try that, which is a good thing because trying and experimenting is very awesome. I 100% agree with that. But it also needs to be data back controlled experiments, not just for experimentation for the sake of experimentation. So I think it's just a social thing. It's an industry thing as well. And then so like that's just from the marketing perspective. But then when you have like leadership also seeing the same things, seeing that people they look up to who are leading companies well doing this and that gets fed down to marketing too, because they want to do that as well and be the influencer in the industry. So it continually funnels down to marketing. Marketing's at the bottom of the hill essentially for a lot of things. And it's really hard for marketing to stand up and say, hey, this is what we truly believe in. This is the few things we're going to do. We're going to do them really well. Have patience with us, give us the commitment and confidence, and we'll see the business results we said we're going to. So that's where I really feel that it's hard for people to switch.